Hello, I'm Erkki Laitila from Metayliopisto. I will present here society as 10 systems model created by Niklas Luhmann and updated by Stefan Roth. And I extend this presentation to the theory of global brain. Metayliopisto typically uses systems thinking, cybernetics and Recursive technology for understanding society. The icon is here a bird which consists of fragments. They are subsystems. Distant approach to what is society is here, where a picture of persons. Here abstraction, they have culture and values, and input for society are capabilities and supply and demand situations which make it possible to have certain behavior output, and it produces functionality. It's concretia at work. The system has, society has its history and future. And then something is born and something has dead. Then something will be created by persons and something will be organized. It will be fixed to its situation, position. Then we have persons here as the input side and persons of the output side, and they are combined by using flows. And in this flow there goes material, energy, information, also persons, money and services. It's the logic of the society. Then society models create something new, holistic approach. They create emergence. We have here society, and the opposite side where we have understanding society, which is a different approach from this. This means differentiation, how to understand this approach either as a whole and a large system or a less complex group of parts. In this video we have the agents to use meta-teaching and meta-learning procedures using PowerPoint and YouTube. We have scope, introduction, context, methods using Deming cycle and summarize. Luhmann has stated in his book the Gesellschaft der Gesellschaft, which means the society of society, that society consists of systems which consist of systems. And the essential part here is to try to understand differentiation, segmentary, any kind of differentiation methods which create modern social theory and critique for practices. It was contribution of Niklas Luhmann. We will start from this matrix here, this table, which has the columns system, code, medium, program and function. It's typical for computer systems. And there are 10 systems. Political system is number 1, the second is economy system, and the 10th is mass media. This had been adopted by Stefan Roth's presentation, and we will study them better later. Unification is the opposite of differentiation. We have here inference engines and social cohesion is also unification. It's how persons here understand each other, help each other. And in the computer side, we have this language, for example, Prolog here, and it's possible for it to describe discovery systems, to make them for models in order to enable queries, to give answers to queries. It's a high-level language using artificial intelligence. And one idea here is to understand those kind of systems, parts of societies, as a model to create a cybernetic machine, and it goes to the focus of global brain. How bird can be coherently understand. We have 10 different systems. They are here, we will discuss them later. Essential questions for that are: how close are those systems from each other? What is the generic system combining these different types approaches together? What are relations between them? How can we build an artificial model for society using artifacts? And what are practical benefits from this kind of approach to science and to practical life? Two best pictures here are about society and complexity, multidisciplinary approach, and the other side is here human body, which consists of 10 different human systems. And then we have 10 system approach also to society. We are now wondering, using Kahneman's the second system principle, something surprising. What is society like? What does it contain? And it contains logic of viable system. Is one possibility to understand society. It contains survival, evolution, homeostasis, synergy, maintenance. Then, going to introduction, a relevant question is: what specific and interesting can Metayliopisto provide to this presentation? We provide generic methods and models for understanding society, business, IT, and nature. We will promote systems thinking in practice and practice for politics and public sector. Society can be seen as Deming cycle, for example. Now, so we have as input the complex word which is called VUCA word. Typical features here are ambiguity, complexity, uncertainty, and volatility. And then one possible output how to solve this kind of complexity in general is to use group working technology, and macroeconomics is one example. And it has possibilities, approaches for business and innovation, technology, science, education, profit, health, politics, media, energy, and so on. And they are very close to the approach of 10 system principle of Luhmann. Then we will start. This is the activation part. The purpose of the 10 systems. Cybernetic machine is one approach also to this 10 systems model. We have cybernetic model and artificial intelligence model. And here we have external environment is a larger picture extended from this. We have sensors and effectors, and here is the logic for the cybernetic machine, which is assumed to do something like any of the 10 systems do. This is Ashby's cybernetic model of idealized machines. He has thought for 50 years ago that the world consists of disciplines, and they are like models, they are like machines each other, and computer-related models are here. There are about 50 to 20, and mathematics can be seen as separated cybernetic disciplines using these approaches, and philosophy, sociology, and so on. And this is also one approach to the problem of 10 systems. And by using this kind of grouping, it's possible to understand multidisciplinary questions which combine this kind of different separate disciplines for relevant big questions. I introduce here a generic body for 10 systems using infrastructure, which is a starting point, and structure, which is a body of any of the 10 systems, and then output is ideal structure. How do they behave? As input we have VUCA word, which is complex word, and output a global brain, which is a process to understand and solve those problems in those sectors. There, in each sector, have been selected the most relevant parts of the 10 systems in each sector. When we are developing this kind of model for the 10 system, we can use convergent thinking to create traditional parts which are known, and divergent thinking by extending the approach to a wider aspect. And in the center here, there is a relevant question how to create a coherent view for society to be used in the most relevant questions, digitalization, climate change, and so on. This picture is from Wikipedia presenting the global brain, and there are certain sectors here. How to evaluate this information? What are the 10 systems, and what is differentiation here? Differentiation is understanding differences between persons, different kind of races, and different kind of opinions. And in this approach, we start from a certain view what is society like, and in order to create a generic model, in order to get a summary what are the 10 system models together. Then the global brain hypothesis here is to state that we will get something very important information by using a generic model here in order to understand the cross relations. Then we will start plan how to describe the systems. Background here for the system symbols is from Turing machine computer system. There is program. Program has code and symbols, and medium and function. These are the terms here in the 10 systems model columns. And then in addition we should have needs for the systems, influence, its output, problem and solutions. This is the logic of the 10 system evaluation in this approach. Holiday is the demonstration for the semantics here. It's easy to understand. We have here sea and very beautiful scenery and the beach and flowers. And we will create a meta method. It is method to plan methods here. And the meta method is here, it contains a medium. It's a plan to have something time for oneself for holiday plan. And then we have here a program. The program is independency. In the holiday you should be independent of all annoying things, only funny and very essential things for a neighborhood. And then functionality is empowerment, enjoying life, to load batteries. It's a definition for a holiday as a semantic model. Then we'll start show it as a meta concept here. We have needs, values, also culture, and in order to get function, we have code theory and medium to get input. In general, we have some problems or something that must be changed in order to get solutions. And then we have program plan for the holiday, and in order to get the assumed influence. It can be shown also as computer analogy, the same numbers here, and also age, this is a function. Society can be seen as meta models. We have a meta model which contains all systems, and it's a 10 systems model here, and specific. If there is political system, there are specific many kinds of political systems, and their implementation in the real life. And its logic, intentionality here. The word can be seen as a host for systems and systems practice, what is practical life. System can be defined as a holistic image of parts, interactions, context, actions, relationships, destiny, according to Martin. And then we have hard systems, which are technology, information technology, and specific processes, which are rather fixed. And there is a bus, process and information flow, that connects the most relevant parts here. And then we have a model for soft system. Contains the sectors several evaluation, homeostasis, synergy, maintenance. This is not a model for a person, but it's a viable model, which means a system that is viable. It is working so good that there are not serious problems, or if it has problems, it can survive by using maintenance to evaluate, using evaluation in order to get balance, so that it can provide synergy into its environment. And there is the challenge to combine these two approaches. One is rather technical and formal, and what this is not formal. It can be logic for a person at work and in life. Then we will start building a model for each of 10 systems. computer system here, typical computer here, and its logic is so that the medium here is specification how to specify computer applications and implementations. The program here is code, and function is how to execute. There is a little more accurate definition, the hardware input, output, and outputs. Then political system in the same way definition. We have a political system for USA, the president, Congress, and so on. And then the medium here is power, program is ideology, and function is regulation. And its definition here. Those terms can be found in the original presentation of Luhmann and Roth. Then economy system, it seems similar, although it is quite different from the political system. This economical system, the purpose is to distribute something using money, having pricing as a method, as a program. And then the influence here is to balance supply and demand, to make deals. Then science is also a system. This is the third. There is one example of a scientific implementation. Then what is science? The medium is truth, program is theory, and function is verification. And it's the same here. We have here influence, getting truth, and something very new and relevant, rigorous information, which is true, not non-true. Then making design, architectures, and beauty. This is a very large approach. For example, making houses, architectures. This is a house, which is it's to be blunt. The medium here is style, program is fashion, and function is creation. And this is the schema here. Then religion. There is Pope, which is praying for starving children. And then how does it work? The medium is faith, program is confession, and function is revelation. And this is logic. The influence is some kind of emancipation. It's trust for the person, trust in God. Then legal system, there is Finnish law, and then how does it work? The medium is law, program is law, and function is to regulate and standardize. The influence is how to stabilize society, and there is the logic. Then sport as a system, there is different kind of sport types, and the logic is here. Achievement is medium, program is goal, and function is to mobilization. And the contribution here is to have a good shape in response to motivation. And then health system is human body meridians. And how does it work? Medium is illness, program is diagnosis, and function is restoration. And it works like that. The influence is healing. Then education. There are pupils going to education system, and there are outputs as output the same persons some years later. They have gotten creativity, discipline, and intelligence. How does it work? The medium is vita, program is curriculum, and function is formation in order to get learned skills. Then mass media. There's presentation of media, different kind of press offices, companies providing media. How does it work? Medium is medium itself, topic is program, and function is multiplication. Then how does it work? Influence, output are publications, articles, and other presentations. Then the last one is here manufacturing. There is a factory production line, and it works like so that medium is order, program is result, and function is production. The final output are products and services. Then, now we have studied, we have got through the 10 systems, and so something is to study. What have we learned? We have created a meta model for society. It's typical this kind of model. We have the highest level is general, universal. It's common to all subtypes and subtypes of subtypes, which describe the real world. Then its principle is based on iteration, something learning cycle, Deming cycle here, act, plan, do, check, and it iterates here many times. And then program here is performance. We have force, positive force, and negative forces, and the purpose is to find balances, homeostasis between those positive and negative things. And the influence here is to get services, to get deals to be planned. Then, in summary, as a picture, we have medium program function, and they can be shown here. There are 10 systems and also computer system model and manufacturer model. It's a relevant approach to the whole society. Then final summary here. Activation, challenging, feedback, adaptation, and the final view what we have discussed. The summary contains of recursivity principle, fractal theories, cumbersome project, and peace machine idea. I will tell something about them now. Viable system model is very reliable because it contains recursive system theory, which enables diagnostics, fault isolation, and repairing faults and failures. It contains of principles similar architecture for certain levels of organization to all levels. It's a principle of one architecture of a viable system. It can be created for group, division, business unit, business segment, and so on. Then, because this is systematical and the similar features in all levels, it's possible to create computer systems and models and control and auditing systems in order to control those systems, whether they are in condition or not. And this is an example of a computer models database system which controls this kind of a system very efficiently. As an example, this is a picture that shows architecture of a viable system. It have certain nodes, and each node can be specified and analyzed whether they are in condition or not. And this picture is from a Cybernetic project. Here it shows many levels. There are 12 levels here, from worker to crew and workshop and to the whole nation. And if we use this kind of viable system architecture, it's possible to understand relations and in order to get problems and in order to correct them. Some information about the conversion project, which has been created for Chile. The relevant question is to answer: is it utopia or not, building a viable system using viable subsystems for politics, economy, and so on. Then fractal theories. The nature consists of fractals, those kind of things. This picture about space, so Andromeda or stars, and there are computer pictures about fractals, mathematical evaluation, another fractal, and so on. Humans thinking also consists of fractals. There are intellectual parts and emotional parts, and they are grouped in our mind in many ways, in many levels, here in many colors. They are like fractals to our thoughts. They can be in theory grouped and classified. Then the final summary here is global brain, and it has been defined by Wells. It's a collection of essays in his book about 8 years ago. And then the most essential parts here are regularity, Gaia theory, superorganisms, social networks, noosphere, nematics, collective intelligence, conscious artificial intelligence. And their definitions can be found in Wikipedia. I have found there are 16 different features, and I've written their definitions here on black. For example, algorithm regulations. It means that society uses computer algorithms for regulations at a very high level. And another example here is noosphere, atmosphere for human thought. Atmosphere is normally seen outside in space, but this atmosphere is for in human's brain. I've grouped those kind of features here into the Goodreason schema, which has 8 sectors, and the logic can be found. The purpose for this drawing was to find whether those features are relevant, are they orthogonal, separate for each other, and so on. And it sounds promising to group them in this kind of thing. Then one challenging project here in Finland is Timo Honkela, the professor of artificial intelligence, computer engineering. The name is Peace Machine, peace from a different perspective in dialogue of a million people. The purpose here is to create such kind of implementation that decreases wars and increases possibilities for peace. And it's a very abstract project. I've studied this some hours and found as principle the 3 most important things. There are meanings, emotions, and society. And the purpose here uses very efficiently many of these 16 sectors, 16 features. For example, atmosphere for human body, human thought, network presence, superorganism, a group of synergistically interacting organisms, and society is living organism in order to avoid wars. This is a very human, it's very abstract project, but the logic can be classified using this grouping of global brain. Then some recommendations to be seen in YouTube. There is a Cybernetic project. It has been created for Chile in 1971, 1973. but there was a military revolution which stopped that promising project. And here, the global brain features here, many of them have been used in this Cybersystem project so many 40 years ago. The most eminent here was management Cybernetics. Viable system model maintains internal stability and adapts to a changing environment. It was the most the central logic of this huge project was number 7 here, but also many other features there were used. And it was science fiction type because there were so many quite new novel innovations in this project. It is perhaps up till now the most ambitious digitalization project ever, but China perhaps can follow it. The first one. Metayliopisto is a think tank to promote systems thinking. Everything starts from and by systems thinking, by thinking. The thinking project starts from intuition. It goes to knowledge, imagination in order to evaluate output. What is then the most important word to be able to solve the most important problems? It's an abstract question. How can you express what is wrong in current society and how to solve it? Here I will answer that question. It is differentiation and after that unification, because unification means how to adapt features, requirements and possibilities to get the best possible output. For example, to adapt supply and demand together using the resources as intelligently as possible. Okay, now we have, in the end, I've presented differentiation and Luhmann's 10 systems model here, and I will continue into the global brain technology, how intelligence and information from 10 systems and other system models can be connected into each other in order to get a holistic solution for the society. Thank you for interest and welcome to these pages also later to see about innovations of Metayliopisto. Bye.